What's up, everybody? Heroes 13 here, back with yet another video. I was going to make a quick little video. I told myself I'd make a video today. I'm not sure if I'll get it posted or anything, but I want to talk about the Sentinels from X-Men Days of Future Past. About a day ago, I posted a video of them versus the Eternals in MCU Vision, and I just started thinking, right? Because I saw some clips of them on TikTok, so that's what really got me into making videos about them. But the thing, and it's storming in the background, so forgive the thunder, but I want to ask, are the Sentinels truly as overpowered as some people might think them to be? Yes and no. And towards the mutants of the X-Men universe, the Fox universe, I'm talking about the movie versions here, of course, yes, they were extremely dangerous. They were almost unbeatable in one-on-one combat. Well, at least they appear to be. The Sentinels have the ability to adapt to any and all mutant powers. I have my doubts about this because how can you adapt to telekinesis? But hey, maybe telekinesis is maybe that's one of the powers that's not, maybe I know most mutant powers have like limbs and all that, but that's besides the point. The thing is, I don't see how, the Sentinels are overpowered, but only compared to mutants, because most mutants in the X-Men Fox universe only have one power. You could probably throw like the guy we saw with the mutants who were fighting the Sentinels at the start of the movie and at the end of the movie. There was a person who had flame powers. There was Iceman. There was Blink, who had portals. There was Kitty, who could phase. There was Colossus. There was Bishop with energy attacks, and there was I think his name's Banshee, the guy who had great hearing. We saw that the mutants were able to use their powers to do a little bit of to assert back a Sentinel for once. In one-on-one, no mutant stood a chance against him. But when they teamed up, when they combined, they actually did some damage to him. In fact, one Sentinel had lost their arm in the initial fight when the movie first starts against the X-Men, and that's important. You want to know why? Because it was like 3 to 4 Sentinels that were sent after that group. Need I mind you, that group wasn't very large. And you can honestly say that one person in that group was useless. The guy with senses. I mean, he was the one who alerted the group to them, but apart from that, there wasn't much he could do. So he's basically a civilian at this point. But so you had Colossus, Blink, Kitty. Kitty didn't fight. Colossus, Blink, the fire guy, and the ice mage. Because Bishop, the guy who had energy attacks, he fled. So really, it was a 4-on-4. And the mutants still managed to take off their arms. Like we saw one mutant, and the X-Men managed to take off their arms. We saw one Sentinel turn into metal to counter Cyclops. Another turned into fire to counter Iceman. The other turned into ice to counter the flame guy. But like I said, most mutants only have one ability, and most mutants don't even have particularly powerful abilities. So why am I talking about this? What am I talking about? Well, I'm trying to lay the scene. They never really fought any really top tier heavy hitters. Okay, yeah, Colossus has super strength, but that's just about all. And it's kind of easy to adapt and overcome that. What are the Sentinels going to do against somebody like Superman from the DCEU? What are they going to do against the Sentry from the MCU, Captain Marvel, Thor? Hulk is interesting, but yeah. Silver Surfer, there are tons of powerful beings who would absolutely mop the floor with not just one, but several Sentinels, Vision included. I forgot to mention him in some of the heavy hitters. He is a heavy hitter. I gotta stand for Vision, everybody. You might say, well, they can adapt to their powers. Well, we don't know that. It was never remembered. When this movie was made, there was no Fox the X-Men weren't sent back to Marvel. So we don't know that. We don't know. The Sentinels are the big bad. They were the grave threats of their world. Okay? Not in not here. Like, for example, I genuinely believe Wolverine could take on the Sentinels fairly easily. Well, maybe not fairly easy, like, because Wolverine, even if they do damage him, he has his healing factor, and I doubt they could adapt to his adamantium. But I don't know. No, they might be able to adapt to his adamantium. But yeah, I mean, you put them against, say, like, you put them against a here's how it works. Okay, sure, the Sentinels may be able to adapt to other heroes' powers, but heroes who have multiple sets of powers or like different abilities. For example, like Superman has super speed, strength, and durability. There's nothing the Sentinels can do against that. Superman, while they might be able to adapt to his heat vision, he could blitz them. While Sentry with his telekinetic powers could probably just snap them in half. I don't think they can adapt to telekinesis. I think that's why they killed off Jean Grey. Or Famke Johnson was kind of having some she was having some issues with the directors of X-Men, so that's probably why she didn't come back. So, but I mean, if you don't believe me, well, just look at the X-Men movies. Blink was able to use her powers. A mutant with she only had the abilities to make portals. She was able to use her power to open up portals to redirect their attacks, the Sentinels' attacks against one another, and she redirected them into objects. Like one Sentinel would charge at her, she'd open a portal and make it crash into a wall. So they can be affected by other abilities, even mutant abilities. So say someone with telekinesis could just pick up a building and drop it on them, right? They're not immune to the actual effects of the powers. In fact, really, they can only just adapt to elemental abilities, if we're being brutally honest. So the Sentinels are incredibly strong and dangerous, but when you put them against the other heavy hitters, I mean, they get absolutely washed. Like if they invaded the MCU, DCU, they would be destroyed. They would be utterly destroyed. Now, they could take on the Fantastic Four, but that's, that's pretty much it. And even without their adaptation, with being made of robots, they are incredibly strong and durable. They are impressive in terms of strength and alone, but don't act like they got Hulk levels of strength. They can fly and they have flight, so I don't think Hulk could be able to take too many of them. But I mean, any Thor, Vision, Wanda, Captain Marvel, Superman, Wonder Woman, Sentry, all these type of people would absolutely clown on the Sentinels. They're really only dangerous to mutants or people with just one ability and relative weak abilities at that. I'm Hero3TN. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching.